Bonhoeffer has this notion that conservatives hate and people who are not conservative, it's an inch and they take it to a mile. This notion of religionless Christianity. I've got the prison letters. So this is before he gets to religionless Christianity. He gets his other very famous quote where he says, "What keeps gnawing at me is the question, what is Christianity, or who is Christ actually for us today?" So essentially, in a world where the idea that believing in the Christian God is basically put into question as being the way to create, Jason, as you're talking about, justice isn't something you believe in, it's something you build. And so by the church, the German church, which is the state church in Bonhoeffer's time, by doing what they did, they show that Christianity really is like, it is not necessarily the way to build justice. In Bonhoeffer's view, the primary thing was excluding Jews from the fellowship. And so Bonhoeffer, he now realizes that decision fucks it up. Christianly speaking, I don't know how else to say it. And then he goes in his, the a priori part, he says is, if it becomes obvious one day that this a priori, this notion that Christianity has always been a form of religion, that it doesn't exist, what does that mean for Christianity? Now, he's saying all of this while he is in prison for the assassination attempt on Hitler that was discovered. So your question is, why are we with him? Because Bonhoeffer at the time realized just because you are a Christian or that you're a part of the fellowship, if the fellowship is not in the business of building justice, if they simply believe in it as a, like, and this is Bonhoeffer's, like, cheap grace. Cheap grace is merely believing in concepts and not actually internalizing them to create what those concepts actually want to create. What we believe as Christians creates the kingdom of God, which is shalom for all people. In the Old Testament, for me, where in the Psalms where it says that, you know, nations will come up to Zion and worship God, you know, they will go up the mountain and worship him in Zion in the temple in Jerusalem. That means that the Christian community or the people of God are so compelling in not only what they believe, but in the kind of society that they have. It's so compelling that people who are not the people of God, they say, I want in on that. That's what the concepts of Christianity. So anyways, the question is, okay, why this? Is because I realized very early, or while I was in seminary, particularly reading Bonhoeffer and Black theology, that what it takes to build the kingdom of God requires more than the people who simply show up to church on Sunday morning. Because most of what happens on Sunday morning is about keeping the people that contribute the most to the tithe and offering to keep the lights on, than it is about actually taking courage and taking care of people that need it.
But Moki, what if instead of being compelling ourselves, what if we like make other people try to be Christian by their behavior, by like forcing them to be legally? Like, what if we took power and instead of being compelling, we compelled instead? What if we did that?
Two examples I have are with AA, Alcoholics Anonymous. I'm not trying to minimize it, or I think it is for what it does, it's amazing. But what they do is they don't try to force you to change. They want you to see that you, one, have a problem and you have to want to change. There's that aspect. Second one is less intense. My 7-year-old son, when he was, I don't remember what the time it was, but we had to do potty training for him. If I tried to tell him, you need to, if I had to sit him down on the toilet to take a doo-doo, not happen. The more you insist, the more they resist. You can't expect a certain level of behavior before you do the work of building justice and equity in a community. If somebody is homeless or whatever it may be, you're not going to say, hey man, say the sinner's prayer before, I give you, I pay for you, help you and your family get your baby, get diapers.